Kevin Harvick has a very, very strong belief and hot take on a recent silly season decision, and I absolutely disagree with him. So let's go back a few days. Last week, it was announced by Front Row Motorsports that they had re-signed Noah Gragson. Now, he's going to be staying around for a 1-year deal. He'll be staying in the number 4 car. However, it's not a decision that Kevin Harvick was surprised by, but he also disagrees with it. Now, keep in mind, I did a video earlier this year, a few months ago, actually, maybe a month or two, and Noah had said on one of these podcasts, hey, I don't know if I'm coming back to the number 4. I may be looking for a new job, right? And everyone's like, whoa, Noah's going. And I had pitched, okay, I think him and Bass Pro, they would be great sponsors and great connections for a Richard Childress Racing. I thought, well, you could go back to JRM, but they kind of had not a lot of availability in terms of seats. Perhaps Hendrick would bring on another car and run in that camp since they are in a partnership with Junior Motorsports, or maybe another Cup team would come around and grab Noah. And I believe that Noah is not going anywhere anytime fast in terms of making progressions and getting better and finding more success in the number 4 car. And I thought that he should go back to the O'Reilly series where he has found success, kind of get his confidence back, start winning some races, maybe a title, and then maybe another Cup team would come calling. Well, what's interesting is on speed, Kevin Harvick weighed in on the decision made by Front Row, and he believes that Front Row should have moved on from Gragson in favor of another driver, in favor of Front Row Motorsports driver, NASCAR Craftsman Series driver Layne Riggs, because Harvick, he thinks that this dismay over the signing has more to do with Riggs than it does Gragson, and he feels like Front Row should have prioritized a higher ceiling, a brighter future driver in Layne Riggs over Noah. He said, well, Front Row announced Friday that Noah Gragson will return in what I view as a bit of a surprise. I thought Noah would be out. I really thought Layne Riggs would have had the opportunity to step into this ride, or the seat, excuse me. This one definitely caught me off guard a little bit. I thought Noah would be out because, I mean, look, Layne Riggs is in a position to win a Truck Series championship. He's in the organization, and if you look at winning races and taking it to the next level, you've got to put the guy, that prospect, in your system, in your seat. But that's not the case here, and Noah will be back in the number 4 car for Front Row. Now, take a step back. Harvick, obviously, very synonymous with the number 4 on his door. He won a 2014 NASCAR Cup Series championship and a ton of races while over at Stewart-Haas. And so he has a little bit of an emotional connection to the number as much as, say, the 29. Now, he asked point blank, or his co-host, Will Brooks, if Noah Gragson is in a good enough position to be in that car. And he once again said that Layne Riggs would be a better solution to Front Row's problems. He said, I hadn't just seen the results out of Noah, and I think that Layne Riggs could achieve. I think that Noah is a great kid. He's a great personality, fun to be around, all those things. But I haven't seen the results that I think that they could build on with a Layne Riggs type situation in that seat. They've done a great job with Todd Gilliland, and they've done a great job with Zane Smith. When you look back at it, I think Michael McDowell was better in the Front Row car than he is at Spire. So it doesn't seem like Noah's the kind of had that same speed that I think Layne Riggs could step in there and could develop something that would really put them in a position with all 3 cars to be competitive week in and week out. Okay, now, this leaves a massive question for Layne Riggs and his 2027 season, because the Truck Points leader looks poised for a Cup Series leap sooner rather than later. And just like they did with Corey Heim, he fast-tracked the O'Reilly Series and went straight to Cup, or at least it's going to be full-time in 27. So Riggs was on Sirius XM radio last month, and he was asked about the 2027 season, and this is what he had to say. Well, I'd like to know my plans too. I'm not sure either. Actually, we don't have any plans yet. Just trying to figure out how early the silly season works out first to see if there's an opportunity for me. But yeah, I'd love to make my first start at some point. I mean, this year would be great, but it's not looking great for the timeline and having to get your first start before the chase starts in the Cup. Like I said, whatever the opportunity arises, I would love to do. But at the same time, I want to make sure that I start with a splash. That same kind of way I did with the Truck Series. I didn't start with mediocre equipment. Now, he continued to talk on and on and on. And honestly, it's just words. Here's the situation. I understand Layne Riggs has a name, obviously the last name. I understand that Layne Riggs has done a very, very good job in the Truck Series. He's been the guy in the Truck Series, and I think that's all well, fine, and good. Am I surprised that Noah Gragson is also in that number 4, that they did not make a change for 2027? I am. But I also think you have to look at this. The leap from trucks to O'Reilly is a pretty good jump. A jump from O'Reilly's to Cup is big. A jump from the Truck Series to Cup is massive. It's overwhelming. And you can say, well, we've seen Corey Heim do it. Why can't Layne Riggs do it? Well, I can tell you, Corey Heim is a generational talent. Okay? We are so spoiled right now in this day and age with Cup of seeing generational talent. You only saw them a handful of times in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. Think about this. When we talk about generational talent, we've gone from Richard Petty, we've gone from Pearson, we went to Earnhardt, we went to Gordon. Now think about this. Then we went from Gordon to Stewart. We had to wait from Stewart to Jimmy Johnson. Then you had to wait from Jimmy Johnson, and then all of a sudden, boom, you got generational talent. You got Kyle Busch. You got Kyle Larson. You have Corey Heim. You have, in my opinion, I think Connor Zillage can get there. You have guys that could be on that same level, a Ty Gibbs. You have these guys out there that are generational talents. I don't believe Riggs is a generational talent, and I think he is going to struggle if they try, or if he tries to go from trucks to Cup. That's going to be brutal.